being here. This is so exciting. Yay! You all look clean and beautiful and wonderful. I want to meet all of you and smell each other together tonight. But before we get into that, I thought we'd do a really quick Q&A. I'm here to answer any questions you have about the book or otherwise for a brief moment in time, and then we'll take some selfies together, and it'll be a really great Thursday? Is it Thursday? Yeah, that's why you're here. Thanks. Okay, if anyone has any questions, feel free to raise your hand and we will start. Yeah, go ahead.
What was the most difficult part about writing the book?
The most difficult part of writing the book was the time frame in which I told everyone I could write it. I wrote it in 6 weeks, which in hindsight was real crazy and caused a few emotional hiccups along the way because I'm not invincible, turns out, and I can't do everything. So that was the hardest part. The best part about writing it was actually writing it, like the physical act of writing things down. I hadn't done that for so long. I make these videos every day and they're mostly improvised, so I don't get a chance to sit down with like my thoughts and put them into like some sort of narrative, which was really, really fun. And also it was fun to think about how to personalize each chapter and what kind of story I had to tell from my life that was relevant. A lot of repressed memories came to the surface, which was great, and so it was as much of a long therapy session for me as I hoped it would be for the people reading it. Yeah, it was fun overall. It was great. Yeah.
Now that you're back to blonde, are you slightly disappointed that you're brunette in the book?
Oh yeah, yeah. You could hear it now. Now that I'm back to blonde, am I disappointed that I was brunette in the book? Yeah, I went through a phase where I tried to convince myself I wasn't sad. I was just dyeing my hair because I wanted to. But like when a girl dyes their hair, they're real sad. So I was brunette. It's weird to look at the photos of myself as a brunette because it doesn't, to me, even look like me, and I'm used to seeing my face every day. But Hannah told me, and I thought it was my mom that told me this, but turns out it was Hannah. The two are interchangeable at this point. That she was like, no, this makes sense now because the book's all about pretending to be a grown-up, so this is like you pretending that you're more serious than you are. So I'm just going to take that and run with it and be like, it was on purpose. Yeah. What's my favorite fall vegetable? Are you confusing this for an Ina Garden Q&A? My favorite fall vegetable is probably, is spaghetti squash considered a fall vegetable? Yeah, I like how someone wooed for spaghetti squash. I like spaghetti squash because it's like the David Blaine of vegetables. It starts out whole and then you roast it and you put a fork in there and it turns into spaghetti. It's magic. It's also very healthy-ish if you are into that. Yes?
How are you?
How am I? That's very sweet of you. I'm well. I'm tired, but I'm really excited to be here because every time I do one of these, you are all the nicest human beings. I put deodorant on before this, so yeah. So, like, you brought
You travel deodorant.
See, this is the best thing is that like people now assume I'm just like a really helpless soul and they'll just bring me things, which is really great because I will use that. Like I have to go to the airport after this and like that will go in my bag as travel deodorant. So preemptive thank you for that. Yes.
What impact did Mamrie and Hannah have on the book for you?
What impact did Mamrie and Hannah have on the book for me? Well, they were a huge catalyst for me writing the book, period. They had both sold and were already working on their books, and I get real competitive around them, so I was like, watch this, I can do it too. But also, they were really great because when I was writing this book, I remember the hardest moment of writing this book was when I was in London with them and we were doing some no-filter shows there, and Mamrie and I were sharing a hotel room, and everything in London is so tiny, and our hotel room was so tiny, and we were working on our show, so we had props and like makeshift shit everywhere and like old room service and like emptied wine bottles, and it was just like a scum palace that we were living in, and yeah, it was super gross. and yeah, Hannah came into the room at one point. She was like, whoa, this is like thick air of terrible in here. And that's where I finished the book, which is really great. But they were super helpful, like helping me when I needed them for ideas or to hear something, and also really helpful of giving me space when I needed just some privacy in our scum palace to write. Yeah.
What did inspire you to write the book?
What inspired me to write the book? I read a lot of self-help books after I graduated college, and none of them, they all seemed really definitive. They all seemed like, this is how you get over this. This is how you deal with this. And none of them were saying like, I have no idea, but here's maybe an idea. So I really wanted to write something. At first, the book was going to be just completely nonsense. It was just going to be the most irreverent self-help book possible. Just like really crude photos, a lot of like, yeah, weird worksheets. And so when I started writing it, I realized, oh no, I want to give some actual advice, because there have been certain things in my life that have been really helpful, that it feels really selfish to hold on to that for myself and not share it with everyone. So the impetus was to write something that I wish I had a chance to read when I graduated college. Yeah, that made everything seem less serious, less difficult, less complicated, and I hope that this does that in some way. Yes, all the way back there with the blonde. Yeah, you! My favorite chapter to write, the chapter that I've gotten some of the greatest feedback on has been the panic and anxiety chapter. And I've said this before, I felt really awkward writing that because panic and anxiety seems to be a very trendy thing to talk about. It feels like jegging's like, I got it too, look, hey. And so I didn't want to write about it in a way that was trying to like be part of I didn't want to write about like struggle as a pity topic of like, look at me, feel bad for me. I wanted to write about it as like, hey, I have this too, cool, we all have this, is like the thing that I've learned, we all have some form of it, and if you don't, you are a psychopath. And so I wanted to write about it in a way that was still funny, because I've had dark times with it, and the lighter times have come because I've been able to look at it in a more ridiculous way, or a less serious way. And so that chapter I'm really happy with. Also, there's a photo of me hitting Hannah Hart in the face with bread in that chapter. So, you know, 2 thumbs up. Yes?
What are some of your guilty pleasures as far as TV, music, movies go?
Some of my guilty pleasures as far as TV, movies, music go. I think my taste in general is just guilty pleasure. It could be summed up. I haven't watched a lot of TV or movies lately. Oh, I watched that movie Neighbors on a plane with Zac Efron and the other funny. Yeah, that guy, Seth Rogen. And it was really good. I was like totally anticipating it being really stupid and like trying really hard, and I LOL'd on a plane watching it. But I watch Real Housewives, the whole franchise. That's like my TV. I need to watch it. I did a morning show this morning, and Kenya Moore, who was one of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, was on the show, and I didn't get a chance to take a selfie with her, but I did watch her assistant put lotion on her legs from a distance. And I was like, this is the best. And then I texted Mamrie in all caps, and then we just had an all caps conversation back and forth for like 5 minutes, being like in awe of this moment. I wish I had taken a photo. Yeah, that's my. And then music-wise, I've been so bad at music my whole life. I just never, like, I guess my parents never instilled something in me that like music is important in your life and is like a cool thing. So I listen to whatever's popular, but I also have a tendency to listen to one or two songs on repeat over and over and over until I hate them. And right now, I've been listening to all of the epic rap battles of history songs. I listen to the Steve Jobs versus Bill Gates one like on repeat while I run. It's so great. They're so great. I've been listening to that one and the Mozart versus Skrillex one just constantly. So that's the music that I listen to now. So ultimately it's just YouTube constantly. Yeah. 2 more questions. Make it awesome. Do I like pumpkin spice lattes? Yes. I won't deny that they're delicious. I mean, I just hate what they've become. It's like leggings. Like, I like leggings. I'll say it. I like them because they're comfortable, and pumpkin spice latte is delicious. It just is so stupid, but it's great. Yes. Okay. Yes. Last question. How tired am I of puns dealing with my last name? I'm not tired of it. I don't think people make a ton of puns on my last name other than Smellbig is the only one that I've gotten, which is fine. And has become like a thing that my parents have started saying as like a term of endearment. But my dad used to, and this is so weird in hindsight, my dad used to give me this nickname growing up. He used to call me Stinky all the time, and I never ever thought of it as like, that's terrible, like that's not a very cute nickname. Like I thought like, oh, that's sweet, whatever, Stinky. Anything with like an IE sound at the end seems to be like inherently cute. And then when I was like in college and my first like college boyfriend came home, my dad like called me Stinky in front of him, and he was like, what? Why? Where did this come from? And like, yeah. So no, I'm not sick of it. And puns in general, I can't be sick of because I'm friends with Hannah and Mamrie, and like, they will die if they don't make a pun at least once a day or once every hour. So I have to be okay with it. But the best part, if you guys ever have a Q&A session at any point with Hannah and Mamrie together, they have the biggest arguments about how Mamrie's puns are based on rhyming everything, and Hannah gets so angry at that because Hannah's like, puns aren't just rhyming! Like, she's so upset. So please ask them about that in the future, because the best thing about our friendship is sometimes they get in arguments and I get to sit back and just watch it happen. Okay, so...
Yes, I'll grab the one.
Great. Thank you guys for all your questions. Now, the best way to do this, I'm really great at taking selfies, and I'd love to take selfies with all of you guys. So if you have your cameras ready, that'd be awesome, and I'll sign your stuff. And then we'll have a wonderful Thursday night. Thanks, guys.